Welcome to Estate Planning Simplified.
Good evening. How is everyone today? Neil Anderson with Envision Estate Planning. I'm going to begin today with a story. And in a moment, I'm going to connect the dots, and this is going to become relevant to our topic of the day. But my story is this. A few years ago, I had the great and excruciating pleasure of taking the bar exam. Those of you who are attorneys who might watch this are feeling my pain and just recollecting it. But anyway, I was getting pretty close to the time it was for me to take the exam, and I was really worried and really struggling. I was doing really well with one section or two sections, multiple choice, and a written section. Multiple choice, no problem. I was doing well. I was well prepared, and I was taking practice exams, and everything was going great. Essays, whole nother story. Not because I can't write, I enjoy writing. Not because I didn't know what I had studied, because I did. The problem I was having was twofold. Number one, I'm long-winded. Not just when I talk, as you guys probably know, but also when I write. And number two, and more importantly, it was taking me too long to organize ideas in my head and to pull out the areas of law when I was doing the analysis that I needed to know. And so I threw my hands up in the air. I said, enough of this. Let me go back to the beginning when I was learning my legal concepts using audio files. Why was I doing this? I didn't have time to hit the books the way other students did. I was taking care of a preschooler, a toddler, and I was running a nonprofit organization and then going to law school at night. So I had to take study shortcuts, and audio files was how I did it. So I'm listening to my audio files in the car, and my son, a preschooler then, says to me, he's listening with me, and Daddy. And I'm like, yeah, what's up, kiddo? What's negligence? Still remember it to this day. I explained negligence to this boy, but in a manner in which he could understand. And it was awesome. And then he, I'm on another file, and he says, Daddy, what's murder? What's manslaughter? Oh my gosh. All right, that was a bit more uncomfortable. But you know what? I did anything he asked, I explained. So he became my study partner. And the next time I did an essay, guess what happened? That gap I was just talking about was gone. I could write. I could recollect everything really quickly. And so I wasn't trying to get too complex with it. I was writing my essays as if I were writing them for and to a preschooler. And hey, for better or worse, it worked. Anyway, why am I talking about this? Because I just tried something pretty cool. Hey, listen, if you guys are like me, you might be a little bit fascinated by artificial intelligence. It's the hottest topic right now in tech. It's one of the hottest topics in the world, and the possibilities with AI are phenomenal. And so I've always been a little bit behind the technological curve. Yes, I have. I've been meaning to YouTube for years. It's taken me this long. I just started doing it. So I've been a little bit behind. But anyway, I went in and played around a little bit with something called, I started with Chat GPT. You may have heard of it. I think it was launched in November. I couldn't get onto Chat GPT because it was full. So I did something different called Instruct GPT, and I put in a number of queries for things relevant to what I do, estate planning. And then I put in even further queries when I received those answers and asked it to summarize for a second grader. So let me just tell you what this is. Instruct GPT, it operates somewhat like a search engine. You put in a question, it gives you an answer. The difference is it doesn't give you 5,000 answers or 500 pages of answers sandwiched in between a bunch of advertisements. It gives you a direct answer, right or wrong. So I wanted to see how this worked and whether it would be useful. And frankly, I'm going to tell you right now, I did find it to be useful. Does it work? Yeah, it's pretty basic, but it did okay. So I'm going to give you a little bit of an example. Hopefully that this artificial intelligence won't be replacing me or you or any of us anytime too soon, but it is fun. So I first asked, what is a good estate planning topic to blog about? The answer, by the way, excuse me if I look down at the paper, but the answer, a good estate planning topic to blog about, is the importance of having a will and other estate planning documents in place. Hey, that's a pretty good answer to me. What do you guys think? And since I talk about some of these topics ad nauseum, and I'm sure to be talking about them again, I'm not covering those right now. I really just want to get into the fun of exploring on this Instruct GPT. So then I queried again, what are the top 5 estate planning questions? Well, the top 5 estate planning questions are, what is a will? What is a trust? What is a power of attorney? What is a living will? And what is probate? I don't know if that would really be the top 5 questions, but they are very obvious questions. But some people don't know what a trust is. They've never really thought much about a power of attorney. I know for most of my adult life, I hadn't. It's not like we commonly are talking in conversation about these things. So I'm not sure that those would be the 5, but it's pretty good things and pretty important. So then I put the same thing in and I said, summarize this for a second grader. And what came up is estate planning is about how to handle things after you die. And that's not a terrible answer, except that it's not broad enough. It doesn't give enough information to that second grader, first grader, whoever you're talking about, because it's about more than that, as we know. It involves how we handle things in life, not just in death. And then it says, there are 5 important questions about estate planning. And number 1, a will is a document that says what should happen to your stuff. Pretty good, right? That's not bad. A trust is when you tell someone else how to manage your things. It's a little rudimentary, but it's not terrible. I would take that a little bit further. A power of attorney is when you give someone else the power to make decisions for you. That's not bad. That's a pretty good explanation if I were to explain it to a kindergarten, first grader, second grader. The living will is when you say what kind of medical care you want. Again, not bad. Some of these answers, they're not complete, but they're okay. And probate is when the court makes sure your will is followed. And that's the only answer I truly don't have any like for at all, because it's assuming that somebody has a will. And probate is not just for when someone has a will. Probate is for when someone has no plan at all, as we know. I'm going to do one more. I don't like to make these videos too long, but what is a will? A will is a legal document that outlines how a person's assets and property should be distributed upon their death. So that's the first answer that this Instruct GPT gave me. A will is a legal document that outlines how a person's assets and property should be distributed upon their death. Now, summarize for a second grader. This is what came up. A will is a special paper that tells what should happen to somebody's things after they die. I like it. I like it a little better, to be honest with you. Anyway, I have named this channel Estate Planning Simplified. I am trying to present things in, real simple, basic terms, not legalese for people. So I could see some benefit to this. But more importantly, AI, hey, listen, this is something we got to pay attention to. It has some very real world applications to what I do. And honestly, it has real world applications to what any of us do. This is just a sampling. This is just for fun. I may come back and talk about AI and its applications to estate planning or other topics another time, because not only do I think it's fascinating, I think it is relevant. So let's take one more question and see how it did, and then I'm going to say good night to you guys. Let me see. All right. Why is it important to have an estate plan? It is important. This is the first question. Now, the broader answer that was given to me on Instruct GPT is it is important to have an estate plan in order to ensure your assets and property are distributed according to your wishes after your death and to minimize the amount of taxes and fees that may be due. An estate plan can also help ensure that your wishes regarding medical treatment are followed in the event of your incapacitation. That is not at all a bad answer. A lot of these are things that I do talk about and blog about. It is certainly missing some things, especially when it comes to guardianship and protecting children, but overall not too terrible. Now, let me give you the simplified answer when I put in, I think in this case I put summarize for a kindergartner, not a second grader. And here is what it says. Estate planning is important to make sure that your things are given to who you want when you die and to save money on taxes and fees. It also helps make sure that your wishes about your medical care are followed if you can't make decisions for yourself. Not too bad. I would add, with any child I'm talking to about an estate plan, it also makes sure that you will never be taken care of by a stranger. Anyway, folks, this is free to use. Try it out. Try it out. Be careful when you Google search this GPT. You're going to get a lot of sites that are paid for, that are actually creating, I don't know, another medium for you to access the site that you're going to pay a third-party person to do what is open source and free. So try this out. It's fun. It's free. It's there. They just launched it in November. Again, Instruct GPT, Chat GPT. I'm definitely going to talk to you about the chat feature later. I will see you tomorrow. In the meantime, depending on where you are and when you're watching this, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Make today a great day.
Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you love these videos.